We're going to be starting in a minute or two. If everyone can find their seats, we're going to be starting in just a moment. Thank you. All right, everyone, good evening. My name's David Ranson. I'm the advisor with Edward Jones here in Barrington. I want to welcome everyone to the 2023 Greater Barrington Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner. It's really a pleasure. I've been a member since 2001, so it's a privilege and a pleasure for me to, again, MC this event. It's customary for the Chamber to start its meetings with a flag salute. And since today's Veterans Day, as we all know, I'd like to invite up one of our founding chamber members, Jim Sunderland from J.J. Sunderland Construction, who happens to be an Army Vietnam veteran. So Jim, come on up and let's help us with the flag salute. Would you all please stand?
Thank you, David. I want to welcome all the veterans here and have them all join in and salute the flag. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
And just to continue the patriotic portion of the program a little bit further, if there are any other veterans in the room or families that have, or people that have close family members currently serving, if you wouldn't mind standing and we can acknowledge you as well, please. Thank you all, and God bless America. So again, welcome to the dinner. The mission of the Greater Barrington Chamber of Commerce is to form a voluntary partnership of business and professional people working together to advance the economic and social growth and well-being of its members and the community. This annual dinner that we have gives us a chance to reflect on how we're doing in that endeavor, and also is a fun time to just celebrate, commiserate with people, and have a good time and end up the year for the Chamber. The planning committee on these dinners every year try to have a theme, and hopefully around the table you have a little card here. Our theme this year, and it's tried to be tied in with the two awards that we've been giving out for years now, the Business Leader of the Year, our Member Award, and the Citizen of the Year. And this year the theme is A Wildlife Encounter, 300 Years in the Making. And of course that's a segue for me to first initially tie in and let us welcome our two award winners this evening. Derek Small of Wildlife Encounters, Ecology and Wellness Center, and the Barrington Tricentennial Committee. Let's give them a hand. Okay, sponsors are next. Events like this can't go on without sponsors, and so it's my pleasure to tell you that technology has been upgraded. So if I miss anyone, just take a look at these TV screens. They're going to be posted most of the night, but I want to individually mention the people that really helped put this dinner together for us tonight. The dinner, again, this evening is underwritten by First Seacoast Bank. Gina Denuzio is a new board member for the Chamber, and she's got a table here, and they've been great members for years for the Chamber. So let's give First Seacoast Bank a hand. Our gold sponsor is Unified Builders here, and they're also relatively new chamber members. And Dwayne and Heather Watson have a group with us today. If you don't know, and maybe you've had the experience of wanting to get something done around your house, remodeling or done, and had trouble getting people to show up or do a good job, they have a client-centered approach to their business that is really well received in the area, and I'm sure you're seeing some of their signs around town. So we just wanted to acknowledge Unified Builders for, again, helping us be a gold sponsor for this evening's program. We've got premier sponsors as well. The first one I'll mention is Eastern Propane. Eastern Propane is one of those kinds of companies that chambers, small chambers like Barrington, Greater Barrington need, because they're a large enough company where they don't just help in our chamber, but they are members of chambers all around the region and support those communities. So Eastern is here today with Mark and Cider Barry, along with Marilyn and Ann, and they're sitting over there. So thank you, Eastern, for helping us. The next premier sponsor is George Kalis Fines Foods. Lynn Murphy is here. She's also stepping up to help our chamber. She's a new board member. George Kalis, what can you say about them? They've been around a long time here in Barrington. It is Thanksgiving. If you haven't had a fresh turkey from George Kalis Fine Food, you don't know what you're missing. So, Lynn, I don't know where you're at. Maybe you can stand up and say hello right there. George Kalis, thank you. Our dinner sponsor this year is, again, Rochester Country Club. Tina and John Maiorino are here with Dawn and Eric. Actually, John's not here tonight. He couldn't make it, but Dawn and Eric Carlson. We literally couldn't do these programs here, so thank you for the space. Thank you for the upcoming dinner. We're all looking forward to it, and let's give a hand to Rochester Country Club. You. The entertainment tonight is Bill Koffel. He's the guy that's been sitting here behind me all night, and he's a local guy from Northwood. He'll be playing a little bit during dinner, and after the ceremonies are over, he's going to hang around a little bit and do one more set as we can kind of have some fun after the awards are given out. So, again, welcome. Looking forward to a fun evening. The first thing on the event is the Chamber Review. The Chamber Review is going to be put together by our board chair, Scott Villeneuve. And Scott is also, interestingly enough, a committee member of our Citizen of the Year, the Barrington Tricentennial Committee. So I've gotten to know Scott quite a lot working on the committee with him the last several years, and he's doing a great job as a board member. But I thought I'd give a little tidbit and maybe some insight into Scott. He helped out a lot with the Spooky Walk. I don't know whether any of you attended the Spooky Walk last year, but it was a big success. And I found it really interesting that he was so easily able to transition his personality from local businessman and committee member to a masked chainsaw massacre people. It was amazing, disturbing, really, on what he did. But let's call Scott up and give the chamber a review.
I left the chainsaw in my other suit. And not the mask, yeah. No, this is the mask. Thank you all for coming, friends. Really appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to the veterans who are here and to those who have family members who are serving. Thank you so much. We literally would not be here and free if it weren't for the sacrifice of our veterans, so thank you. There's going to be some thanks that I am going to miss. Let me make sure that I've got my... Oh, am I on the right side of this thing? Sorry, folks. Oh, there we go. Excellent. So I want to introduce Oh, I see. It sort of fades in. This is good. I want to thank, first of all, our members. That's the businesses, the organizations, some of the nonprofits, the individuals who make up our chamber. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have a chamber. So if you're part of the chamber, thank you very much. Thanks to tonight's sponsors. And what I'd like to say about not only our members, but our sponsors is they have made and they have demonstrated a commitment to our community based on their dollars because of their sponsorships, based on their time and their volunteer hours, which is amazing. And I would invite you to patronize their businesses because that's how this cycle works. It's like rain and goes into the soil and things grow, and if we don't keep that cycle going, then it will not continue. I'd like to recognize our board of directors as you have been introduced to a couple of our newer members. Our executive committee, which is the officers, is myself, Derek Small, who you'll be hearing all about. He's our vice chair, and animal handler, which comes in handy during some meetings. Mark Shaner from DeNovo Insurance is our co-treasurer, along with Gina Denuzio, who has plenty of experience working at First Seacoast Bank. And a shout out to First Seacoast Bank being our underwriter. Hey. And just in general, there are so many little things that that bank does for us as a chamber and as a community. I've got my accounts, and they are just fantastic. Joanne Moore, who so generously volunteered to be our secretary and also is a dynamite volunteer, a dynamite person, runs her own nonprofit in town that is amazing. Heather Watson from Unified Builders, one of our newest members, along with Kathy McLaughlin, Robert Grumbles, Roy Fairbanks, and Lynn Murphy. Thank you so much for what you do. And I'd like to thank two more people, and then we'll get into this presentation. It will be brief, but thorough. Tina from Nippo Lake and from Rochester Country Club, just the facility, they host our meetings, our member meetings, and they just do so much for us. So thank you to Tina. And lastly, someone who's very close to me, near and dear to my heart, is Darlene, our executive director at the chamber, who's also my wife. She really has breathed new life into the chamber, and that's been demonstrated in no small way to the surge of new members, which is amazing. And I don't know if anyone attended the craft fair at the middle school this past weekend, but it was an unbelievable success. The estimates are that we saw 800 to 1,000 people go through that day, which was just amazing. Almost 100 vendors, and it was put together by a fabulous committee of volunteers who put in many, many hours. So let me give you a little, those are all the thank yous, and if I forgot someone, please forgive me. Let's start with what we do on an annual basis. Where am I pointing this thing? There we go. In the beginning of the year, we have a chamber open house. And this past year, we had our open house, and it was very well attended, despite a burst pipe that flooded the chamber office. It was insane. We got a call around 3 in the morning, and the carpets were soaked, and thanks to ServPro and some dedicated folks, we got that squared away, and still within, I think it was 5 days later, we had our open house. And this is a getting to know you event, mixer, and frankly, that sort of making connections, making contacts at these events, that's what the chamber's all about. It's about business people, local community business people getting to know each other. And it's like, hey, I need an addition, or I need my bathroom worked on because I sprung a leak at 3 a.m. Can you guys handle it? And thanks to Unified Builders and others, we got that squared away. This guy made an appearance with Derek, which is always a wonderful thing. Another thing we do are business after hours, which is basically after hours mixers during the week, and we have members who volunteer or sign up to do that. And this one here, this was at Cornerstone VNA, which was a wonderful event. We got to know a little bit about the member businesses, and Jim Sunderland there, and also a wonderful, what was that event called with the lights? Lights of Love. And there were some dedications to people. Of course, Linda Sunderland, who's an all-star with the Chamber and a wonderful gal, remembered. This is an after-hours event that we had at Wireless Zone, who's another great supporter of the Chamber. I may or may not have won the raffle that night. We always have fabulous beverages, and this was at Major Waldron's, which was an awesome event. Robert Grumbles, who's our representative there. And we got to see, is this Loki? Yep, our Arctic fox here friend. And Derek always says that he never gets good pictures of him with the animals. The animals look fabulous, and he's always making a face. So this was the one good one I could come up with. This is Dan from Major Waldron. He gave us an awesome overview. This wasn't too long ago. This was at Wildlife Encounters at the sanctuary in Rochester, and we got to meet some pretty cool critters. If you haven't been, you really must. Darlene with a chinchilla there. Got to meet this lynx, which was amazing. Every month we have a member meeting, which is at Nippo Lake, and we go over the business and what's coming up with the Chamber. You're in a lot of these pictures, Derek. Fabulous food provided by Nippo and their staff, which is always amazing. When golf is in session, we have breakfast. When golf is not in session, we have lunches. So we kind of divide up the year that way. We have different guests come in and speak on various topics. We had some folks from the state that came in talking about health benefits and so forth. And we can also highlight businesses. They get an 8 or 9, 10-minute sometimes opportunity to show a presentation and just basically inform folks about what they do. We received a certificate of appreciation from Bruce Trefethen, who's the commander of the Legion post here in town and in attendance. And that was a great honor. Our peeper race. This is one of our bigger events. It happens in the spring, in May, and this year was one of our biggest turnouts as far as racers. And we have this is a good one. We have many sponsors, and we really do our best to make sure that our sponsors for these events get just as much recognition as they possibly can on the T-shirts and our brochures and all of our advertising, Facebook and so forth. This year we had some vendor space. We're going to be expanding that in the future. This one's near and dear to my heart. And there are so many, I'm skipping around here, forgive me. There are so many folks that volunteer hours and hours of time to put these events on. I mean, look at all of this water and food and the T-shirts, and just coordinating a road race is a significant undertaking, and that is in no small part to our wonderful volunteers. There's a couple of great people who are our Citizens of the Year from 2022. And we have our peeper. This is Cindy Fairbanks, who always dresses up as our peeper and runs alongside our runners as they're finishing the road race and everything. And we have prizes and recognition, and it is a TAC certified race, meaning that if someone breaks a world record, which won't be me, that it would actually count. So it's a pretty well anticipated event. All of the funds and the proceeds that are raised at the race or with the race go to our scholarship recipients. And we have an annual scholarship dinner, which was hosted here. And we award, for a small chamber, which we are a small chamber, we award $3,500 in 5 prizes to college students. And it's not just high school students going to college. We have a couple of scholarships that go to continuing education. And it doesn't have to be a 4-year college or anything like that. It could be a tech school. That is a great time to celebrate those students. They give a speech, a short speech, but we try to make it a meaningful event for the students, and it's pretty awesome to see the best and brightest, these kids who are coming up, and I'm always encouraged at the end of those dinners because these kids are very sharp. On the heels of the road race, we have our chamber golf tournament, which again, tremendous volunteers. It's held at Nippo Lake. We had awesome weather for this year's as opposed to last year's, which was very rainy. Raffles, just tremendous prizes, some hole-in-one opportunities, which I missed again. And I had a foursome. This happens to be my son, who just was standing by a Unified Builders sign, which was a pretty cool shot to get. Everybody has a good time. It is if you don't participate in the golf tournament because you don't golf, that's not the only reason why you would go. There's tons of things to do, and just going, volunteering, whatever it is, it's a good time. Got some sponsors here. Again, you're going to see some familiar faces because these folks are in and around our community. Afterwards, we have a great lunch and award ceremony and raffles, and it's a good time. Another thing, as a chamber, something that you would expect, are ribbon cutting ceremonies. And this isn't always for new businesses. This could be a business that is rebranding themselves, relaunching themselves in some way, or opening a new branch perhaps. And we've had 3 this year. This one happens to be the barn on, forgive me, on Union Lake, the barn at Union Lake. Thank you very much. Which is an absolutely amazing place if you haven't seen. It's also the Peach Orchard. This little video clip happened to be our most popular video clip of the year on Facebook. What an awesome time. I also had a ribbon cutting for my new business, which was awesome. And we actually raffled off a guitar that was won by this 14-year-old young man here. It was tremendous. Most recently, we had our holiday craft fair, which is new, quote unquote. So there have been craft fairs in Barrington. We relaunched it, and we're not affiliated with the prior group that was doing the craft fair, but to the community, it's just another year with an awesome craft fair. And one of the things that we launched this year is a holiday shopping guide. Incidentally, you can still get in on the holiday shopping guide. We printed up a rev for the craft fair, and we're doing another rev for the soiree. So there's lots of opportunities there, and we want to make it the definitive shopping guide for local businesses in the greater Barrington area. The place was jam-packed. That was Karate International doing their thing. We had a booth there. Super cute crafts, all kinds of good stuff. Derek was there with some furry friends. Well, he wasn't that furry. He was more of a African porcupine, so he was spiky friends. Just some incredibly clever, talented people. Dale was there with his not whiskey barrels. Are they whiskey barrels? Oh, okay. Oh, and there's our spiky friend there. So it was just a tremendous time. We're doing it again next year. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. Coming up, this is last year, but we're going to be having our soiree and tree lighting, which of course is a culmination and a combination of different businesses that are putting this on. Christmas Dove, Caleb's Country Store, and so forth. Last year was a little bit of a challenge. We got a tree. There's Derek and Casey O'Brien up in the bucket truck, And our tree actually got knocked down twice by wind, but we put it back up. And thanks actually to the folks at Great View Landscape, they donate their time and their muscle to put that tree back up. When all was said and done, it was incredibly cold, but it was an awesome event. Who here has been to the soiree? All right, awesome. Awesome. Well, I invite you to come. It's December 1st this year, first Friday in December. Some photo ops. And new for this year, we're doing something that we haven't done before. Special thanks to Garth for helping put this together. Garth Svensson from Christmas Dove. We're planting a tree. And drawing a blank here. Who's our big sponsor? Okay, HRCU. Thank you very much. I have it written right here, too. Maria Shute so generously donated a tree, and HRCU has donated a spot on their land right next to the Christmas Dove where we're putting it. This is us on a very cold morning kind of figuring out what spot we would put it on and what had the best light and so forth. And we... right where this stick is, where Garth is pounding it in, is where it's going. So it's super visible from both sides. I think it's like a 10-foot tree, and we're going to light it up, and it's going to be tremendous. And, oh, well, there you go. I didn't even need to pause there. Sorry. So a tremendous partnership between Holy Rosary Credit Union, the Barrington Rec, Jesse Tennis and company, which was awesome. And I want to thank Maria Shute for the donation of the tree and Garth for just basically hooking up all the human resources. And if you guys haven't already visited Annette Horn, she is the photo booth lady in the back and is doing black and whites and color photos. And you get them right there. It prints right out. Darlene and I did one, so I encourage you to do it. And at the end, perhaps sometime this evening, the committee could get a picture and all of the board for the chamber. And that's enough for me. Thank you so very much for your time, and enjoy the evening.
All right, dinner's right around the corner. Before we would have dinner, though, tonight, I want to invite up a community member that helped plan this, and a longtime helper of the chamber, Suzanne McNeil, for the opening prayer. Suzanne? Tell her a little bit more about her. Longtime town employee. She's the secretary of the Historical Society. Again, a great member of this committee. And to kind of tie in with one of the things going on today with awards, she was an example of how the tricentennial kind of got everyone brought into the community and took part in it. She was one of the actors in the cemetery walk that happened last summer, and she portrayed quite adeptly Bertha Hayes. Yes, quite the thespian. Quick sidebar about my brother who's in the house. He was our family thespian. Okay, growing up. He was basically the Robert De Niro of Grant Elementary School. All the big roles, really. Mr. Scrooge, Peter Rabbit, all of them. It was something to see. Teasing your brother never gets old. Here's Suzanne.
Thank you. Let us pray. Hear our prayer for our friends, the animals, and for Derek Small and Wildlife Encounters, who deal with them with a heart of compassion, gentle hands, and kind words. Thank you for the wonderful variety of animals that you created and spread all over the earth. For our pets to wildlife and the many animals and creatures we may never see in person, we are in awe of their beauty, strength, and uniqueness. Make us ourselves be true friends to the animals. Hear our prayer for gratitude for the Barrington Tricentennial Committee, who selflessly offered their time and talents. May their actions guide our community into the future, as each one was driven by desire to make Barrington a better place and bring a sense of community among us. May their actions inspire others, creating a ripple effect that keeps our community a place of support, growth, and unity. Amen.
Thank you, Susan. So sales will be out directly, and the servers will come table by table. Obviously, the food's out there. So bon appetit, everyone, and we'll talk to you after dinner. Thanks.
Everybody, let's give a big hand for Bill Koffel here on guitar and singing.
Okay, everyone. Everyone can hear me? Good. Well, welcome back. And how about a hand for Rochester Country Club and the fine dinner? Thank you so much. This is my favorite part of the program. I've known this a while, and we like to, when we have these annual dinners, acknowledge people who come back to the dinner that are former winners. So it's a chance to kind of go down memory lane and think of where you were on the different years. We're going to start with someone who's here from the year 2000. It was our first Business Leader of the Year. And what I want to do is to ask that person to stand up so we can all see who they are and give them a hand after I talk to them a little bit about it. So Business Leader of the Year is Diane St. Jean. In 2000, she was an early member of the Chamber and one of the organizers and kind of workhorses of the Chamber in the early days. She actually was a design person who designed the original logo of the Barrington Chamber of Commerce years ago. And so I want to recognize her and thank her for coming, Diane St. Jean. She's a well that we keep going to because another thing that you may know about her is her and her husband Ron were big supporters of the Tricentennial. She actually did the collaboration and putting together of the Tricentennial booklet or book that came out. So we really appreciate Diane. 2002, we're going to go up forward and mention the 2002 Business Leader of the Year. And that's Tina and John Maiorina, our hosts tonight at Nipple Lake Country Club. They continue to come a long way and be important people for the Chamber since that time, and they've now become owners of Rochester Country Club. But we gave it in 2002 because that was the big year for Barrington's golf recreational thing. They turned Nipple Lake from 9 holes to 18 holes, and that's what put them over to do that. So we want to thank Tina as a great hostess and John for all that she continues to do for the Chamber. 2003, we're moving up. It was then Federal Savings Bank. It's now First Seacoast Bank, and they are, again, one of those companies big enough to support not just this chamber, but a lot of chambers in the region. And in 2003, we recognized them for their long-standing support of the chamber. Again, they're here with Gina Denuzio and her group, so let's give them another hand. 2005, this is a good one. Marion Naruna, okay, and TurboCam. Do you remember Marion? Was recognized. Could you stand up, please? He's here with his wife, Susie. TurboCam, go ahead, Susie. TurboCam has been a great addition to Barrington. We really appreciate the support. Their firm sponsored last year's Tricentennial Parade. Their philanthropic interests go a lot further than Barrington. They're really a worldwide scenario, so it's great to see you both coming here. Thanks for coming tonight, and we really appreciate it. 2008. Citizen of the Year, long-standing resident, again, who put a lot of time over the years, still does at the Barrington Food Pantry, Stanley Bodish. Stan, can you stand up? (2008), same year, Business Leader of the Year, the Christmas Dove. John and Linda Svensson were recognized. I believe, Garth, that was their 35th anniversary that year, and we were happy to honor them. Garth, their boy, is here Today he's part of the Tricentennial community, but he's still running things now at the Christmas Dove. A great reason to spend the day in Barrington after all these years. Garth also is working with the florist at the Barrington Village. He was nice enough in an act of love to give the award people, everyone got a rose from the florist shop in Barrington. So thank you, Garth. Great to see you. 2010, David Ranson, Edward Jones Investments. Okay. Thank you. Just another chance to say she's still by my side. Karen Ranson was with me every step of the way, starting from scratch, and it's been a wonderful, wild ride, so to speak, to go along with the theme. So thank you. 2013, the Business Leader of the Year that year was Jim Sunderland, J.J. Sunderland Construction. Yeah. Jim's still helping the chamber after all these years. He and his late wife Linda were so instrumental in really growing the chamber and helping the chamber. He's done work on the golf committee every year. He's on the committee to plan this dinner. He's the handyman who made this podium and others for the chamber. He just a great guy. So let's hear it again for Jim. Business Leader of the Year, 2014. Where were you in 2014? Well, Ron St. Jean, our photographer, was a Business Leader of the Year. Let's hear it up for Ron. Please stand. Again, they dynamic duo. He and Diane put together the Tricentennial book. He went to all the different things, as you'll soon hear about that, but he's been a long-standing member of the chamber, does a lot of good things around town. He's our town moderator, too, if you didn't know, and he's got the perfect demeanor for that. He's disciplined, he's cordial, polite. He doesn't take any crap, though. He does not take any crap. So, Ron, great to see you. 2015, Citizen of the Year, Fire Chief Rick Walker. Again, it's one of those people that were born and raised in Barrington, ultimately came through the ranks, BYA and everything, and became the Citizen of the Year, was recognized for that. He's also going to be part of the group and actually speaking for our group tonight because he was our chairperson of the Tricentennial. So thanks again, Rick. 2018, we're getting close. Where were you? Business Leader of the Year, Ray Bisson, over here to the right. Stonewall Surveying. Ray's, again, did his time on the board with the chamber, helped with leadership during the years he was on that. What I remember about Ray was a big advocate and helper with the peeper race, almost record-setting. I'm not talking about your run, Ray. I'm talking about the ability to attract a big team that all had to pay to help us raise money. So thank you for those times of helping out the chamber and the scholarship committee. We really appreciate it. 2019, Cornerstone VNA, longtime standing heart. What's here is Julie Reynolds and Erica Lee, and I don't know, is David here? David Embry? He didn't make it. Okay, David didn't make it. But anyway, great situation with Cornerstone VNA. They are, again, one of those companies that have the largesse to support not just the Barrington Chamber, but all the communities around here, the area that they do work in. And your healthcare services are so well appreciated, and we really appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, up to 2022, last year. Business Leader of the Year, Audio Events, Mike Geyer, okay? Our AV sponsor tonight. Mike, again, did his work on the board through the years. He was a board chair for a while, kind of working with the chamber at a very rough time when COVID was just coming in. So we really appreciate the work. And tonight, he's, again, helping us with the audio, video. And it's kind of interesting. He's a local boy makes good because he started out his business years ago doing some things, and he continues to grow it. I heard about this just recently. I'm going to share it with the group. It's not just little stuff like this he's into. He recently was the audio and video person for Kelly Clarkson and a concert that she did in Minnesota. So local boy makes good. Unbelievable. Okay. Look, Mike, today Kelly Clarkson, tomorrow, who's that one who's dating that, yeah. You never know. Yeah. Taylor Swift. Yeah. Okay. All right. Last year, 2022, Citizen of the Year, Jim Califf and Becky Hess Califf. We all know them and thank them for all their time that they worked at George Califf's Country Store and helping the community through their years working there, helping with the food pantry and a lot of other things. For your football fans and Heisman Trophy people, this is it, though. Jim Califf is part of the Tricentennial. So back in the 70s, that Ohio State running back won the Heisman back-to-back, okay? I don't know if it's ever going to be done again. Jim Califf, okay, last year, and he's part of the group this year. I don't know. What's going to happen? Is it going to have to be your grandson, another Califf that does it 50 years from now? We don't know. But anyway, let's hear it again for Jim and Beck. Okay. All right. Before we get on to the business leader, just a quick couple of other things with sponsors that I want to point out. Two people, again, that have been friends of the Chamber and helped us a long time. Susan Sedley designed the little program that we have. She's with Design on a Dime. She's helped out the Chamber many, many years. Go ahead, Stan. Let us see you, Susan. Helping with that. And again, another quick one for Ron St. Jean. He helped out with the portraits that we have in the hallway there, and he's done that for many, many years. He's kind of, again, Chamber royalty, Ron St. Jean. All right. I'm going to read, again, the Wild Pack that was the committee members that sponsored this program before we get to the award, and I'll just read them off the thing. Let's wait until the end. I'll read the names of the people that put this whole evening together. And there's a lot to it, as you can see. It's not just balloons. There's a lot more that come, go into planning these events to making them come out right. So Darlene Villanova is our chamber administrator. Gina D'Annunzio from First Seacoast Bank, Jim Sunderland from J.J. Sunderland Construction, Suzanne McNeil, Joanne Moore from New Again Thrift Shop for Charity, Vanessa Rowley from Northeast Credit Union, great member, Dawn Carlson from Rochester Country Club in Nipple Lake, along with her mom, Tina Marino from Rochester Country Club in Nipple Lake, and Karen and I also chipped in. So let's give a hand for the people that put this together tonight. So all I do is thank people up here. So I'm going to thank one last time, and then we'll get to the award. The other contributing sponsors that are on the inside, I'll read again from the bottom up. These are people that chipped in some additional donations to help make this a successful event. It's, again, some of the same names that I want to read them out anyway. Vanessa and Philip Riley, Suzanne and Paul McNeil, Nipple Lake Golf Club, New and Again Thrift Shop for Charity. That's Joanne Moore. She took care of the dessert that we're going to be having a little bit, too. We got Maria Shute from Realtor Remax Shoreline. We have JSB Trucking, Jeff and Katie Buick. We've got Jim and Linda Sunderland. We've got Guy's Auto, Guy Chevanel. We've got the Generator Connection, Wayne Noyes, friend of the Chamber. If he was here, he'd say, don't be left in the dark. Edward Jones kicked in. Cornerstone VNA kicked in, thank you. And Califf's Country Store, the original one, kicked in. So those are our thank yous for the night, and let's give everyone a hand. All right, thank you for your patience on getting through all those thank yous. I appreciate it, acknowledgments. Now I'd like to just say about the Business Leader, our member award that we give. All chambers really need an influx of people that are new to the community and want to get involved in the business networking that goes on in the chamber and helping with the community. And really, that's why I think Derek Small was a great example of that. He's been with the chamber not too many years, but he's now kind of a veteran here. And everyone is just really thankful for his ability to just volunteer, get in, his leadership. He's on the board. And I think we're all excited, too, about the designs that he has and the development that he wants to have with his business, particularly that it's leaning into Barrington. He's got a lot of exciting things that are going on and going to be taking place right here in Barrington. So very happy to ask Tina, who's going to come up and tell us a little bit more about Derek. So Tina Myrina, could you come on up?
Thank you, David. Hi, everybody. Can everybody see me? Okay, because I've been shrinking lately, and it's, oh, sorry. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, the other thing, too, really quick, is we have, my daughter just asked me to please do, this is a public announcement. We have a pool table. If anybody wants it, it's free. So just see us afterwards, and we want to get it out of our house. So anyway, it is my absolute honor to be up here tonight talking about Derek. So we're going to start. Every year we all gather here, and it's been a lot of years that we've been doing this. We have the opportunity to consider the importance of the Greater Barrington Chamber of Commerce and individuals who contribute to the community. As we heard a little bit earlier, but I'm going to remind you, the Chamber's mission statement is, and I quote, "a voluntary partnership of business and professional people who work together to enhance the economic and social growth and well-being of its members and the community," end quote. There have been many individuals through the years that have volunteered their time and their talents to help the Chamber live out its mission. This evening, we have the pleasure of highlighting Derek Small of Wildlife Encounters Ecology and Wellness Center, who offers us a vision for the future opportunities that will enrich the town of Barrington and the surrounding communities. Before I begin, I'd like to apologize to Derek if I get some of the details incorrect. Just play along with me, and you can correct any of them when you write your book. Derek grew up on a 60-acre farm overlooking the Kennebec River at the top of the hill on Cape Road in South Garnier, Maine, which included many farm animals. His father, David, was hardworking and tried many different entrepreneurial avenues. Derek stated that his strong work ethic came from watching his dad while he was growing up. His mom, Carolyn, was a nurse, and his desire to nurture both people and animals came directly from her. He graduated Plymouth State with a degree in human exercise science and nutrition. While in college, he began dating a girl who had a pet snake. Derek was deadly afraid of snakes. As a result, he had to make a decision: face his fear or stop dating the girl. He continued to date the girl, and his fear was transformed into a fascination and curiosity about reptiles. After graduation, he became a fitness director at a gym, concentrating on helping people with their sports performance, health, and weight loss. This was not as lucrative as he had hoped, and he took on a job with Cabletron in the training and educational department. After Cabletron folded, he and a couple of his fellow employees started a consulting firm which supplied educators to third-party vendors and partners in IT. This lasted for a few years until businesses realized that they could hire knowledgeable employees in IT for less money, and their businesses decided to close. So Derek never lost his fascination or curiosity with reptiles. So he started a nonprofit to rescue reptiles, as the Humane Society does not provide services for them. In 2002, Derek went into partnership with a gentleman from Central Mass, where he pursued an education in which he learned to care for different kinds of animals. In 2004, Wildlife Encounters Ecology and Farm School, a USDA-licensed wildlife sanctuary, began in Rochester. During COVID, he started private ambassador animal sanctuary tours. His motivation was to provide children with experiences that would enhance their mental and physical health in the natural world. It was during one of the first tours that Derek met his now wife, Jackie. And let me step back just a little bit. Back to 2017, he finalized the purchase of the Swain property on Beauty Hill Road, where he and his wife Jackie and some of their children currently reside. As stewards and caretakers of this 77-acre property, it has become a private nature-based education entity and nature preserve. With their marriage in 2023 and Jackie's athletic background and knowledge of yoga, health, wellness, and recent forest bathing, Wildlife Encounters Ecology and Farm School became Wildlife Encounters Ecology and Wellness Center. Derek came into this community in 2017 and joined the chamber. Within a few years, he was on the board and is now the vice chair. He helped with the Peeperfest, and now leads a small group each year to plan and implement the race, and also encouraging other businesses with his charm and wit to put teams together to run. Many of us here know that it takes patience, perseverance, tenacity, and persistence to start or buy a business and keep it flourishing. We also know that being an integral part of the community is important to enhance the ongoing success of a business. Like many of us, Derek has faced many challenges, but he has persevered and has started many nonprofits, all while running his private ambassador annual sanctuary and the Wildlife Encounters Ecology and Wellness Center. After chatting with Derek about his life for my presentation this evening, it became evident that he thinks about and supports other people, and he has a true desire to make life better for both humans and animals. These qualities I personally admire. As business owners, we have all had to face our fears, and Derek is no different. His desire to bring awareness of the importance of our relationship with animals and our environment is evident in his mission and value statement. And I'd like to take a minute just to read it to you, because when I read it, it's amazing. We believe that public education through improving environmental literacy, awareness, and engagement can and will facilitate a positive change in human and societal, this one I had to practice a lot, that's not always in my vocabulary, behaviors and practices that are key in the object of living environmentally and personally responsible lives that will help conserve and protect global biodiversity while maximizing human health and quality of life. Our philosophy, morality, conduct, and messages focus on communicating the interdependent relationship between our three core mission components, which is animals, people, and earth. Derek, you are a visionary. Your mission through education and experiential services will provide opportunities for people to learn, abund, connect with nature and human nature. Your dream for the Swain property is amazing. Scheduling wildlife and ecology education tours, field trips featuring ambassador animals, property trails, and natural features. Staff, board, executive, and team building day retreats and small group meeting space. On-site birthday party space. Science, arts, and culture events. Homeschool programs. Wellness offerings, yoga in various forms, forest bathing, sound healing, meditation classes, nature-based fitness classes and other wellness lifestyle educational classes, movie nights, host community pop-up farmers markets, and off-property domestic and international retreats and live animal outreach programs. These amenities in our community will be a great asset to Barrington residents. Bringing more people to our beautiful town will help all the businesses that already offer goods and services to our community. I am personally very excited about your vision and looking forward to when you will be able to move the private Ambassador Animal Sanctuary to Barrington. Add the additional buildings you're dreaming of, and build the wellness portion of your business to full fruition. This is a very exciting time for Barrington, and we are truly blessed that you have been able to acquire the Swain property. Thank you, Peter Cook. And hopefully we'll be returning animals to the homestead as Grandpa Calvin would have wanted. And this, Derek Small, is why you have been chosen the 2023 Greater Barrington Chamber of Commerce Business Leader of the Year. And now we're going to have a few words from David Small, his dad.
Thank you very much. First of all, I apologize for not getting up in front, but it's probably best that most of you can't see me. Derek exhibited a compassion and a desire to deal with animals very early on in life. We bought the farm when he was 2 years old, and although he was not at that age involved very much with the animals, he showed a desire. When he was going into kindergarten at about age 5, I had the opportunity to operate a dairy farm. I had some idea that maybe I wanted to get into dairy rather than beef. But we had the opportunity to operate a dairy farm in a neighboring town that was put up for sale. And we went there for about a year. Derek, invariably, each day that he got off the school bus, instead of going into the house to say hello to his mother, he came in through the milk house, into the barn, and started patting and talking with the cows and making sure, Dad, that they were all okay. And that was my first indication that he was seriously going to have a lot of compassion and a lot to do with animals. And he learned about the power of some of the species, not only that he deals with, but ones that we were dealing with at that time. Because after we were done on the dairy farm, we went back to our own place, and I had learned that raising dairy replacement heifers was a much more lucrative business than raising beef. And so we got into that business, and we had a bull. And his name was Joe. Joe was a Hereford bull, and he weighed 1,200 pounds or something in that range. One day, Joe decided the grass on the other side of the fence looked better. And he walked through the fence and down onto the neighbor's lawn who lived down over the hill from our property. So the lady called and said, Joe's down here on my lawn. And she loved the animals, and she was out there patting him when we got down there. But I said, Derek, grab a halter and a lead rope, and we'll go down and get him. Derek decided, well, Dad, you got to fix the fence. You got to fix her lawn. I'll take Joe home. I said, well, okay. I think you were 12, maybe 13, something in that range. So he said, come on, Joe, let's go home. Well, Joe decided when it was time to go home, it was time to go in a hurry. Now, if you have ever seen a flag waving in a stiff breeze, you know what Derek looked like at the end of that lead line. Every step he took had to be at least 10 feet apart. I said, well, he's either going to make it or he's not. As it happened, he made it. got Joe up there at the farm, and I think you put him in the barn. And I said, well, okay. The boy has learned just how much power that animal has. But now I'd like to get a little bit serious. The last thing I'm going to mention is she said Derek came to New Hampshire to go to Plymouth State College. And while he was in college, now, I do not remember the exact details, Derek, and you can straighten them out if necessary. But he had a friend, I think he was changing his living arrangements or whatever, Zena Zona. You don't remember? I should have pre-rehearsed it. Why? Because I'm trying to get you to remember things you don't too. Anyway, this friend had a female German Shepherd, and he had to give her up because of the change in his living arrangements, as I remember. And I got a call from Derek. Dad, I know how much you love German Shepherds. And I knew right then I was in a lot of trouble. But actually not, because he was right. Dogs have a special place in my heart, and German Shepherds have the top spot in that place. And so we took in Zena, and she lived with us the rest of her life. And about a year later, another friend had a German Shepherd named Max. And it was a similar situation, and we ended up with Max. So what I'm really getting at is that I recognized the compassion that he had, because he was just determined that those dogs would not be put in shelters and that sort of thing. And if there was anything he could do to rectify the situation, he would. And I appreciate that, and his ability to transfer that feeling and everything that he has done with wildlife encounters. I will admit, I'm not real wild about the snakes, alligators, but especially the spiders. And he introduced me to one of those one day. We went into the cellar to look at what was going on, and he turns around and said, "Hey, Dad, have you met Fluffy?" And he's holding this plate-sized tarantula in his hand. And I'm telling you, I screamed like a little girl. Yeah. So anyway, without any further ado, I am going to hand the mic over to him and say, go for it, son.
And now, Derek, I would love to call you up here to get your award.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, here we go.
What? Oh. Oh,
You got to get
hold
this.
on.
Oh, here, you hold this one.
Oh, yeah, that's the look. That's it. Just the glasses and the name.
Oh, I'm covering mine, I hope.
Better break out your 20s. Thank you. Thank you. You're gonna keep that safe for me? Thank you very much. I woke up this morning and I sent Scott a message. Right? I don't have any idea what I'm gonna say. Like I don't have any idea why I'm here. Why I know you, yes. But still, just rationalizing it. And Scott just sends me a text message back. It's all good, dude. Just, say your thank yous and be done with it. So it was sometime around noon today that I decided to hop on YouTube and pull up the 2022 dinner film. And I watched Mike's 7-minute acceptance from last year, and I'm like, crap, he did a good job. I got to at least write something down. So I normally, when I public speak, I'm normally never nervous. I'm shaking a bit right now, I will admit, probably because I don't have an animal in my hands. So it's typically the focus, and I am not. But I wrote down some words, so I want to let everybody know, first of all, thank you. I'm very grateful for being here this evening and for having been chosen for this recognition. It, as I've already stated, came as quite a surprise. I found out one sunny day this fall when I was out profusely sweating and mowing the lawn, and getting my D3, so good skin exposure. When Mr. Ransom pulls in the driveway, and I was a little bit puzzled. I didn't know exactly why he would be there. I was thinking maybe he needed assistance with a committee or something like that, and maybe I was a little bit dehydrated, but he got out of the car, we shook hands, he started talking about the selection committee, which I was not a part of. So I'm wondering, is he asking me if I can be on the selection committee or if maybe I can nominate a candidate? And it took, 5 minutes and several attempts before he got it through my thick head that I had actually been selected. And it was quite a shock. But I personally feel that my contribution, and maybe this is my own fault, but I feel that my contribution, my business's contribution to the community has been, especially when looking around the room, pretty minimal to date. You know, I look at the other business owners and the other contributions and so on, and very much feel like the new person, you know. But I'm thrilled that so many of you that were on the selection committee feel otherwise and have chosen me today. As far as Jackie and I are concerned, we're here for the long haul, and as we enter the 20th year anniversary of Wildlife Encounters in 2024, we feel like we're a caterpillar about to turn into a butterfly, and we're just getting started. I'd like to thank Tina for her wonderful speech and for taking the time to prepare it. It entailed, I'm sure, many hours of work and a little bit of time at our facility in Rochester, as she had alluded to. She left out an awful lot, right? That was highly edited, a lot on the cutting room floor, and probably appropriately so. But she did tell me, you got a book to write. You know, it's quite a story. And we all have those. So many of us in the room are business owners. We all have our stories. We all have our struggles. All of us are successful to the degree that we are in whatever way you actually measure success due to the people around us. And as the saying goes, there's no I in team. So having said that, I'd like to thank a few of the people in the room that are with us tonight that are a part of what I consider my team that have had significant roles in the last 20 years of my business. First of all, sitting next to my mom and dad is somebody that's a Rochester resident, Mr. Jim Nyland. And he was the person that we were renting the property from way back 20 years ago when this harebrained idea of actually having a business involving a bunch of animals came about. Had to ask permission to kind of renovate a little bit of the old carriage barn, just a little bit, just a portion of one floor. I just needed to have a little bit that would be a USDA licensed facility that would meet requirements, just a couple of small animals. Well, why not? Yeah, sure. I had Jim's full support in that, and then we ended up buying the property from him, and let's just say the way that we went about it and his ongoing support has directly allowed me to still be here today. As a small business owner, it was very challenging during the 2008 Great Financial Crisis, but Jim was able to provide us support then. COVID took it to the whole next level, right, as far as being able to make sure that the animals were safe and secure and well, and so I can't thank you enough that we're still here and we still have the opportunity to contribute great things to our broader community. Let's see, who's next on this list? Oh, yes, sir.
The older I get, the more I realize life is about people, not about money. So the more you can use your resources to help great people like that, it's worth it.
You're going to make me cry. Okay, thank you. So my daughters, I was very surprised. My oldest daughter is now engaged and lives on the other side of the country. But I got a knock on the door in the facility the other morning, and fully expecting, since the only people who ever knock on the facility door is USDA for their unannounced surprise inspections, that my day was about to go sideways. It did go sideways, but when I opened the door, it was my daughter that had conspired with my wife to fly across the country top secret. So I'm so excited that all three of my daughters, Mackenzie, Sydney, and Riley, are in the room. We have been through a heck of a lot. We've been through a heck of a lot, and quite honestly, my fitness career, my time working at Cabletron, and then divesting and Terrasis, and then being a subcontractor, and all those other things was, quite honestly, before all of their time. All they have ever known is Dad's this crazy animal guy. And all of my friends think he's really cool, and so that's an eye roll until, we have the birthday party, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's a little kangaroo here at the birthday party. I just love you guys so much, and thank you guys all for being here. It means absolutely the world. Let's see, moving on to Mr. Cook. You guys all know Mr. Peter Cook. Looking in 2017 for a place to get a little bit more rural than our location in Rochester. I was exploring another property, and I had occasion to meet Mr. Cook, and he was like, can I talk to you about another place maybe? And it ended up coming together in a way that I could have never imagined, and I feel a tremendous amount of responsibility. I hope I didn't overstep, Pete, by quoting to Tina what echoes in my head every single day, that your Grandpa Calvin, who I still have pictures in the house of him, actually just saw something on Facebook. Nancy Swain just forwarded it of her dad and him for Veterans Day. Obviously, I'm not a part of the family. I didn't ever know him. I cannot tell you how many people in the last 6 years that I have been there that are like, oh yeah, he was my bus driver. Literally, Moses, who came over from he was like, yeah, Calvin was my bus driver. This was his place? Yeah, he used to feed the pigs, all the stuff from the elementary school. I'm like, yeah, I've been picking up the silverware and the plastic straws from the juice boxes that literally, I think everything made their way through the pigs, right? Just ridiculous. If I haven't picked up 1,000 forks and knives over the last 6 years just out of the ground, like, oh, look, there's a fork. But it really does mean a lot to me that you entrusted me with the property that's been in the Swain family for, well, since the 300th anniversary, right? Since the founding of the community. Moving on here, because I know we got so much other to do with Peter and his entire team in the community. My mom and dad, obviously I can't say enough. You know all the parts that you played, all the support, all the stuff that was left on the cutting room floor that you were there for me through 10 years ago and so on. Just thank you so much. And my wife and the new kids. COVID happened, right? And like most small businesses and most people, we're just trying to figure out what the heck's going on and how are we going to survive this. And with over 100 animals relying on you every single day, it was a really, really stressful situation. So changing plans and inviting people to come to our legacy facility in Rochester was very new, but she came out of nowhere and has completely changed my life and opened opportunities like I can't imagine. It's like you're the yin to my yang. Actually, that sounded more appropriate in my head. Maybe others would say I'm kind of like the science geek and you're the... But, sorry, I had to. The opportunity to return and retouch and re-engage my health and wellness passions from early on and bring that together with all the stuff that you offer and then to bring that to the community. I'm very, very excited about. What was that? Oh, sorry. So, yeah, I'm getting a little bit off track here. Let's see. Yeah, she's tolerated so much crazy lifestyle, coming home with clothes that smell like armpits from porcupines and Arctic foxes and everything else. What was he, probably 15 when the oldest son, Travis, who was here for a time but had to leave, he apparently commented to her, "Mom, it's like the movie We Bought a Zoo, but you're not dead." So she's been integral the whole time through our engagement and everything else. Especially, what was it? Not this last year, but the year before. Tina's trying to maximize the amount of sponsorship for the golf tournament. She's coming up with sponsorship ideas, and she yells out some new ones. And I'm like, that might be worth considering. Let me run it by Jackie. And she's like, no, you are not going to be the ball washer sponsor. No offense to those who have been ball washer sponsors, but it wasn't a fit for us. So we have a common vision. She's a strong, driven partner in life and in business, and I'm so thankful for her. Having the planning board approve our plan was absolutely amazing here in the town of Barrington. It was such an achievement. I can't thank Ray enough and Stonewall Surveying for being right there through that whole process pre-COVID. The fact that the approval happened in the first 30 days of the COVID shutdown sucked. That was really bad. But we went into survival mode, and I believe that all dark clouds have silver linings, and that very often in a disaster there awaits an opportunity. So the pandemic opened doors for me to meet Jackie. Jackie, in the 2-year recovery in 2021, 2022, and so on, has provided the opportunity and the space to reimagine the future of our organization in a very exciting way. It's also provided the opportunity for me to volunteer with the Chamber and become more involved in the community. Actually, becoming a board member really wasn't a part of the plan. Taking over the chair of the Peeper 5K was definitely not a part of the plan. Something after helping Ray year before last and dedicating all that time, Jackie was like, "You're not doing that again." And then I come home from a board meeting and go, "So Ray's not doing the Peeper in 2023. And I'm the chair of the committee." She's like, "Oh," But the time and the commitment, as much as it might be inconvenient for family and business, but it means the world, and quite honestly, the Chamber, to me, has kind of become like another family. And I'd especially like to point out and thank Scott and Darlene for everything that they've done. Serving as Scott's vice chair now for the 2nd year has been an absolute pleasure. I watch him lead board meetings and member lunches, and I pray that he never steps down, because then everybody will look at me like, "You're next in line," and I can't do that. At least I don't feel I can. Scott, thank you for your leadership in the Chamber, your friendship, and most importantly, the fact that you're so reliable that I never have to cover a meeting for you. So everybody, Scott, as a chair of the Chamber. Okay. Then we hired Darlene. And I quickly understood where the power in this power couple came from. She's been absolutely amazing. We don't have time tonight to go over everything that you've done for the Chamber and the community, but I do want you to know, and everybody here to know, that I know that the success of my chairing the 2023 Peeper race was only due to your hard work and your contribution. I could not have pulled it off without you. You saved the race and possibly my marriage. So thank you. I'd like to thank everybody involved with getting a new Christmas tree, so that I don't have to take my dad's trailer and go cut down another tree and haul it in and put it up multiple times between or over the holiday season. Very excited to have a live Christmas tree. And thank you to the selection committee for making sure I was apparently the only nominee. Just kidding. Checks in the mail. Thank you to the Chamber membership for embracing me and my crazy, unusual business. Thank you to the dinner committee for making this a wonderful evening and for making it possible. Thank you to the Rochester Country Club for hosting tonight. I'm guessing you don't remember when I put an alligator in your swimming pool during a kid's birthday party. I think it was before you bought the place. Did you know that, by the way? No. Okay. So in wrapping things up, I look around the room and I recognize my place. I'm a freshman on this sports team, expected to sacrifice and work hard for the benefit of the team, knowing there will inevitably be some hard hits, maybe an illegal foul delivered as a test for the new guy. But success means keep getting back up and striving to eventually earn the respect of the varsity players. Tonight, I appreciate the recognition It may be as a leader, but I feel the best leader is the one who's an active part of a team. We live in interesting times, and I'm all in on Team Barrington. Game on. Thank you.
That's me again. So anyway, it is now time for us to have a short intermission. What we're going to do is they're going to serve cake for you. If you want coffee, it's outside to the right if you go out this door over here. And we also do, at this time, the raffle. So the raffle that if you bought tickets for the 2 wine baskets, get your raffle tickets out, and we'll do last call to buy any more that you want to buy. So, okay, so stretch your legs real quick, though, because we're going to get going. Okay, we're going to start the second portion of our program, announcing the introduction of the 2023 Citizen of the Year is going to be done by Joyce Capiello, the chair for the Barrington Select Board. All yours.
Thanks for letting the Select Board have a few kind words to say about the committee. So congratulations to the Tricentennial Committee for the positive effect you've had on our committee. You scheduled, at least by my count, 10 months of events during the past year, starting with the snow sculpture, which almost had to happen in February, not January, due to the lack of snow. But when the snow came, it created probably the largest python ever seen in Barrington. This was followed by the pancake breakfast. I love seeing the little boys, like age 3 to 5, just in awe of looking at the fire trucks, just dumbstruck by the size of the fire trucks. Then in April was the variety show, followed by the roadside cleanup. My group had a section of 125, and it was a lot of work. And I learned that motorists, when they stop at the intersection at the traffic lights, throw their cigarettes out the window. Now, we didn't pick up cigarettes, but there was a disgusting amount of cigarettes at that intersection. Volunteers picked up 300 bags of trash, so that it was equivalent to 2,360 pounds of roadside trash. So, pretty amazing event. There were probably more fun events. There were historical events, the reading of the charter, the commemorative envelopes, the tree sculpture, History Day and barbecue, the New Hampshire Regiment encampment with a Black Hawk visit. The Clydesdales got a little too rowdy, so they weren't allowed to come until the following week. And then the parade. If you had a friend who lived on Route 9, they were very popular because you had to get to where you were going to go before the road was closed. So anyone who lived along Route 9 had many friends on their porch and front yard. I'm sure this was probably the most attended of the tricentennial events, and so good. My personal favorite was the cemetery walk. The residents portraying the citizens buried in the cemetery in character was impressive, and certainly I'll call out to Suzanne O'Neill for your character. Then on to Old Timers baseball game with a barbecue and fireworks, the scavenger hunt, the church tours, the spooky walk, the trivia night, and finally the soiree with the addition of fireworks. I mean, that's an incredible list of events for a small community to put on in a year. We saw so many of our residents, kids to seniors, out at various events, something for everybody. We hear from many people that they move to Barrington or they stay here because of the sense of the community, and we feel that the Tricentennial Committee really contributed to that sense of community. They designed so many new events and then enhanced events that have been going on for a while. Things like adding the barbecue to the History Day and the fireworks to the soiree. And the committee has now continued to have a positive impact by transitioning to the Best of Barrington. So we're really looking forward to your future events. We love fireworks again at the concert series this summer. So on behalf of the Select Board, we thank you for an awesome tricentennial year and look forward to the Best of Barrington's future events. So in closing, I wanted to come up with a pithy closing And since I wasn't coming up with that, I decided to ask ChatGPT, or artificial intelligence, to give me a closing sentence. Now, this is the software that kids want to use to do their papers with, rather than writing their own paper. So I used 4 words, and this is what I got. I used Barrington, New Hampshire, tricentennial, and community. So here goes. Barrington's tricentennial committee, organized events, engaged local businesses, encouraged residents to participate in historical and cultural activities, and collaborated with schools, historical societies, and civic groups to create memorable celebrations that fostered a sense of pride and unity. Well put, right? So a round of applause for the Tricentennial Committee. And I would like to invite Ron St. Jean up to, there you are. Come on up, Ron.
Hello, everybody. I heard that the best time to talk to a room full of people is about 10 minutes after dessert. At that time, everybody's happy and everybody's so full they can't get up and run out the door. So I figured I'd test that theory with a slideshow, a PowerPoint slideshow. This is going to be the illustrated version of everything that Joyce just said, I think. Let's see if this works. Come on, thing, work. Okay, Mike, what's the trick? Good question. We may have to ask AI for some visuals here, too.
Oh, I know what it is. That was my fault. There we go. Do you want to see your slideshow?
That'd be cool. Ooh, don't want to lose that. All right. Thank you, Mike Geyer, the tech guy. Let's see. Where were we? I took 2,744 photos of the tricentennial events. We probably won't get through all of those tonight, but I thought we'd go through a little quick version of illustrating what those events looked like. So you'll see on the screens, hopefully. Yeah, this is the one that I didn't take. That doesn't come up there. It came up here. All right. Preview. Cool. All right. Yeah, I didn't take this one, but this is the illustration of that Python that Joyce was talking about. This was submitted by the entrance. I didn't come on board until a little later. I came along just in time for the pancake breakfast, which is the best thing to get to anyway. So timing was good. This was probably the first time that people were actually seeing something about the tricentennial celebration, I think. The committee was there selling merchandise and, promoting the good times that were about to come, and showing a tentative version of a very ambitious schedule that they were going to be entertaining us with for the rest of the year. On April 9th, there was the variety show that Joel puts on fairly regularly, and there was a classic Joel event with local music. It is still up there, right? Local music, Yankee humor with Becky Rule, more music, more music, more music. Yeah, it's always music to my ears when Rick speaks, so that's why. Okay, on May 10th, Joel attended his other job at the post office, canceling the commemorative tricentennial envelope. He's done a lot of these envelopes over the years. Always popular. That was the little cancellation thing. On May 10th was the reading of the charter. The charter that established the town of Barrington was written or first read on May 10th, 1722. So some of those folks that were around back then showed up for this event, and a good time was had. That was the charter. There was also the traditional riding of the pony, which Rick was responsible for. That pony's here too tonight, in case you hadn't seen it yet.
That was the first fire truck.
Yeah. All right, and then following that part of the celebration, there was more music with lunch at the dump. Always a fun group. On June 4th, there was a dedication of the sculpture in the garden, the flower garden that's down at the corner by Kalis. This sculpture was produced by the Dover High School automotive and welding students. It was a tree commemorating the importance the trees played in Barrington's early history, and that was a good group. Some of the students and some of the committee were there for that event. June 11th was the History Day and barbecue. This was a fun, ambitious day. Cute kids, that always helps. Old tractors, that's what I love to see there, and other good stuff. Green Heron, our local bluegrass band from Barrington, was there playing as well. July 23rd was a parade day that included 3 events: the Black Hawk visit, the parade, and an encampment. Well, the Black Hawk visit was the scariest event of this entire season, at least for me, because I happened to be there right under a pine tree when that came into land. I'd never seen one of these in person. They're so much bigger and so much louder than I ever expected, and they produce an incredible wind if you're right underneath them. So as I was standing under the pine tree, thinking I was being sheltered, I had this cartoon vision of every single branch being blown off that tree down on top of me. So I gingerly moved over to the next pine tree, hoping it would protect me from that pine tree. Somehow I survived. And after the sandstorm cleared, the helicopter landed next to the post office, and crew members hopped out. And I was really surprised how young the pilot was, but he did a fine job. All right, then we moved on up the road to the parade, and Jesse was putting decorations on the float. And there was a little negotiating going on about horsey events, I think. Fine new car. Race was practicing his minivan driving that day, and I was hoping to see him back up that thing, but I don't think it ever happened. That was pretty cool. There's the announcers for the parade, Scott and Lori D. And then the parade happened. There was all kinds of cool stuff, so we'll just go through a few of those guys. Joel was the grand marshal of the parade, so he got to ride in the limo. And more interesting folks. Some former citizens of the year were riding in this float. And another citizen of the year with his driver on the tractor. There's Knights, when Knights was still Knights. And softball players and kids from the library. There's our local driver's ed car. And another driver's ed car. And the highway department. And the fire department, and that was the finish line of the parade. But the day wasn't over. A little further down the road there at the Christmas Dove Parade Grounds was the Colonial Encampment. That was pretty cool. There was all kinds of good stuff there. Some interesting artifacts, lots of noise, lots of smoke. You know, when these guys get to play with cannons, there's no stopping them. And those showed up several times over the course of the summer. On July 26th and 28th was that cemetery walk. On the 26th, it actually happened at the cemetery. I believe on the 28th, it got kind of wet, and the presentation was done in the Congregational Church. And there was Dale. And we had, as Joyce said, some fantastic reenactments. I think this is my favorite event as well. It was pretty cool stuff. June 27th, we had a concert with the amazingly good Randy Armstrong, another fine citizen of Barrington. If you've never heard him, he plays world music, but he is the most accomplished, incredible player of instruments you've probably never seen or heard of. It's pretty interesting stuff. He also had with him the World Beat Marimba Band. He teaches students to play these marimbas that he had imported from Africa, and they just sound quite wonderful. A couple of our well-known citizens, the Oliviers, were rocking out. Marty Quinn was given a little hand drum lesson there. And then on July 30th, the Old Timers softball game, accompanied by barbecue and fireworks. Now, one of the good things about the Old Timers game was that there were a lot of young timers playing. Otherwise, we'd still be in like the second inning. So it was neat. There was a lot of professional-looking activity there. There's some. But these people did some pretty remarkable plays for people that don't play all the time. And before they got taken away by the police, we got the one image of the whole group. Moving on to the barbecue. Some people had a good time there. There was another lunch at the dump performance. Some kids playing games on the ball field. And then the fireworks. This is what fireworks look like before they make the big noise. And there's some of them up in the air. On August 2, the Clydesdales insisted on coming to meet the people of Barrington since they didn't get to participate in the parade. So there was a good turnout of folks who came to, it was like the old campaign events we used to have in town. Now, instead of candidates, we have horses. But people got their pictures taken with some of the Clydesdales. That was kind of fun. In August, the whole month of August, there was a town-wide scavenger hunt where people went out looking for various things that I never realized were missing. But apparently they found them all, and they've all been returned to where they belong. That was kind of interesting to run around and look for these places. On October 1st, we had historic church tours. That started with the Green Hill Chapel, which is not on Green Hill anymore, but that's what is now the Barrington Historical Society. Lots of good history in that little building. And then we moved on to the Congregational Church. And every time I see this, I think this is the only church with a zip line going down the center of it. Happily didn't try it, though. And then after that, we went out to the Canaan Chapel out on the western hinterlands of Barrington. And Phil Booty gave a good historical talk on the building. And there's a really neat organ out there. It's like a little mini pipe organ, but it's pretty interesting, beautiful device. And then the other scary event happened on October 29, the Spooky Walk. Interesting people. And there's Scott, and he was not cutting firewood. And either was she. And we did have a resident werewolf jumping out of trees. And this amazing lighting and sound effects out there were courtesy of Mike Geyer. I think he enjoyed that, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, it was really good stuff. November 13th, we had trivia night. And that was kind of fun. This is probably the hardest event to photograph because you try to think of an interesting way to photograph people trying to remember stuff. You know, it was a bit of a challenge. Happily, these are all interesting people. So, you know, that kind of solved the problem there. But, anyway, there wasn't much cheating going on. Much. Anyway. Yay. So good stuff. And on December 2 was the big finale, the soiree and fireworks, which kind of took the whole area from Caliphs through the Christmas Dove. Strange things happened. Elementary school chorus was singing, and lots of people were there. It was quite a turnout. It was nasty cold, as I think was mentioned, but hot marshmallows helped, as did fireworks. It was another spectacular fireworks show. So that's the crew that did all this stuff. The planning and running a year-long series of events requires a tremendous amount of hard work. That's why there's a mandatory 100-year rest period between centennials. Yeah. The committee should be proud of their accomplishment, you know, as they produced an appropriate, thoughtful, and enjoyable celebration of Barrington's first 300 years. On behalf of the Greater Barrington Chamber, I'm pleased to present the Citizens of the Year Award to the Barrington Tricentennial Committee. And I'd like you guys to come up here, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to come up here alphabetically, but I'll help you. Jim Califf, Race Califf, Peter Cook, Aaron Paradise, Karen Ranson, David Ranson. Joel Sherburne couldn't be here tonight, but he's definitely here in spirit. Garth Svensson, Dale Sylvia, Jessica Tennis, Scott Villeneuve, and that other guy, Rick Walker. Somewhere down here we have a little goodie. Got one of these. There he is. Okay, Rick, and the horse you rode him on, you get to hold this. Congratulations.
Let you hold my horse.
Cowboy.
David Ranson said I only had a couple of minutes, and if I talked too long, he was going to grab me and pull me away. First of all, on behalf of the committee, I want to say that Joel is recuperating right now. He's with us here in spirit, but we are sad that he's not here tonight with us. Thank you to the veterans that are in the room. We're here because of the veterans, and we should remember veterans today and honor them today, but thank them every single day, because the men and women that serve this country are the reason that we're here freely tonight to have to be with people. And Derek, congratulations, Business Leader of the Year, well deserved. So about 5 years ago, Jim Califf, Peter Cook, and Kevin Knight were in George Califf Fine Foods talking about the town's 250th anniversary celebration and how much fun it was to them as young preteens. Now, I was still just a really little kid then. Yeah. This morphed into them having a conversation about the fact that our tricentennial celebration was going to be coming up in 4 or 5 years, and that we needed to have a celebration that was equal to or surpassed the 250th anniversary celebration. Soon, I was invited to join in and meetings began. And the ideas began to flow, but we had a couple of problems. Money, or the lack of it, and people to pull us off. So we began recruiting and inviting people to meetings. And like everything trying to gain traction, people came and people went. Eventually, we ended up with a core group of people, all but one of which are here tonight. And we all brought a little something different to the table, including my good friend Dale Sylvia. He brought the crayons and sat quietly in the corner, eating them while the rest of us planned a pie. Dale, I'm just kidding.
He says orange tastes the best.
Dale, I'm just kidding. You brought money. Because his wife paid us handsomely to get him out of her hair. So that's what gave us seed money, was the money that she gave us to babysit Dale. Thank you, Mary. But seriously, for those of you that know Dale, know that he always has something cooking. He's willing to put his money where his mouth is. And Dale jumped into this committee with both feet. To the point where Dale and Aaron co-chaired our biggest event, the parade. And I think they did a great job. I'm just going to go off track just a little bit. As we were planning all these events and knowing that most of these events were going to happen on the weekend, and I'm sitting there in the room going, boy, Jim's got all these big ideas, and he works in his store on Saturdays and Sundays. And unbeknownst to me, he must have realized I was starting to get a little nervous about this, because he went and fired his son and then sold a store so that he could work for us full time. Little did he realize is that we didn't have any money to pay him, so he worked full time for us for free. But, I'm kidding. I volunteered to be the chairman of this committee mainly to act as a liaison between the grassroots committee and the town. I actually, truthfully, had the easiest job of all. These folks standing here tonight accepting this very prestigious award are rock stars. They did all the work, ladies and gentlemen. For no reason, our committee consisted of 3 women and 9 men. Most of the time, it took all 9 of us to keep up with the 3 women. And that's a true story. We needed a secretary, and no one really stepped up to do the job. But thankfully, from a distance, Karen ended up being a very effective secretary, and that I regularly got texts from her reminding me that we had a meeting coming up and that I should notify everybody that we have a meeting, and would remind me of the things I was supposed to do between the meetings. Thank you.
Then he called me and I did.
While she was not officially the secretary, she helped to keep myself and a few of the others headed down the straight and narrow. So thank you very much, Karen, for keeping us in line and on track when we kind of got off pace. Peter, Jim, and Race put together a very successful chicken barbecue. So successful that the line waiting for chicken was so long, we had to.
How long was it?
We ran out of chicken, so they looked at me and said, "You need to go to a store and find us some chicken."
Twice.
So I went down to George Kalis and I cleaned them out of chicken, and then I went to Market Basket and took every piece of chicken they had in it. When I pushed that cart up to the checkout thing, this girl looked at me. I had every piece of chicken there was in that store. And this is the middle of summer and people having chicken barbecues, but nope, I took every bit of chicken that they had. I think I got a police escort back because the natives were getting a little bit restless waiting for their chicken to be cooked. But we worked our butts off that day. We had some laughs along the way, didn't we, Aaron? Yeah. Well, some of us did. Aaron became citizen of the day that day. But she took it all in stride. And I just want to say that Aaron, Karen, and Jesse were our Energizer bunnies. All three of them kept the other 9 of us moving. We just had to do something to keep up with them. In closing, Jim Califf, Race Califf, Peter Cook, Aaron Paradise, Karen Ranson, David Ranson, Joel Sherman, Gus Henson, Dale Sylvia, Jesse Tennis, Scott Vanu were awesome team members. Our committee worked hard to put out a product that we hoped would make the town proud. I think we succeeded. On behalf of the Tricentennial Committee, I want to thank the town residents for their support, and more importantly, the Barrington Chamber of Commerce for this award. Thank you.
Got some closing remarks, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming this evening. You guys can head back. Just a housekeeping thing first. Everyone is wearing these lanyards. Could you just leave them on the table when you leave? We actually recycle these things. We've been using them for years. We just put the new thing in every year. So please leave those on the table. The other thing is that's up for grabs, the place sittings. There's Barrington commemorative tricentennial flags. Work it out at every table, and those little animals you can maybe use as Christmas stocking stuffers. They're all up for grabs. Take them, whoever wants them, and take them home. Leave the other main stuff there, but the flags and the little baby animals are compliments. Take them, and the balloons too. If you want to take the balloons home, you can do that as well. In closing, my heart is full tonight being part of this committee that's being awarded and having done this so many years. So I just thought it made sense to close with a kind of a message of thanksgiving. I wanted to just reflect on the blessings that we all share here in town. We live and work in a wonderful area of a great country. Greater Barrington has lakes, rivers, mountains, and oceans all nearby. The natural beauty that surrounds us, I think, is enhanced by the changing of the seasons that we go through, and it invites us to kind of grab onto the rhythm of those changes as the years plays out. And we have our faith, family, and friends to help us through. And I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Good night.